Just to remind you that a good way to start your day is by taking a glass of water, and that glass of water could be Regis Premium Water, which is pure drinking water packaged in a crystal clear, very beautiful bottle there. So it's the product on our set, and yeah, grab it in any supermarket or a shop near you. The Standard newspaper has one kind of a major headline, and it's Uhuru. Why it cannot be Ruto. And a quick one there on Raila. Uhuru said, support Raila. On his support for Raila, he said, a man seated can see very far compared to a lad on a tree. I choose to sit with Raila. If Ruto mends his ways, we may support him in future. And what he said to his deputy, DP Ruto, you cannot give us huge amounts of money, dubious money, and then tell us which way to go while carrying the Bible. You are the one who will go to hell. Wow. Quite tough there. And part of what he said in his speech confronts rebellion in his backyard in a no-holds-barred criticism of his deputy at Sagana State Lodge, explains why he has ditched him for the heart and soul of the region that has been leaning to the DP. And that story continues on the page 4, 6, and 7 of the Standard newspaper. Well, it's a big story there. And on Ruto, there's a story that Ruto was cleared to visit the UK and United States. A story on page 8 of the Standard newspaper. And those are some of the stories we'll sample today.
Yes, on page 6, 12, and 13 of the Daily Nation is on the 2022 campaign trail. Azimio's Raila Odinga accuses DP Ruto of inciting settlers in the Mau complex against the government during the first attempt to resettle them as Kenya Kwanza woos Makueni. Pledges of honor as NMG launches peace caravan. That is a story on page 2 and 3. And then there is the opinion, the health, and the education segments with their stories there.
Well, I love the picture on this story about Uhuru on the Standard newspaper. They've pictured him as a person who is like given up. I love the editor who did that there. So onto that story, which is on the page 4. This is basically what happened at Sagana Lodge yesterday, and pictured there is Uhuru as he arrived in Sagana, Nyeri County, for a meeting with leaders to represent and representative of special interest groups to discuss the progress of government development projects in Mount Kenya region. And he's pictured there saying that hand sign, that Jubilee hand sign, tuko pamoja. And part of his speech was what Jubilee has done in since inception, and he stated that they have built on 2,600 kilometers. That is since handshake. Jubilee has tarmacked 2,600 kilometers. 1,100 kilometers were tarmacked between 2013 to 2017. That's a comparison there. Well, some of also the benefits that Kenya has benefited from Jubilee government is 1.9 million that title deeds that have been received within the 9 years, 1.3 million people employed under Ajira program, that is 588,000 are from Mount Kenya, and it goes down to those figures, and these figures sum up what we saw on the screens during Sagana 3. Before Uhuru spoke, there were screens of some projects and some people who have benefited from the Jubilee government from 2013 to, or rather the 9 years. I want to quote some of what Uhuru said towards his deputy, and he says, let me get this one. Right, he claimed that some leaders in his government had been using their positions to divert public resources and then making huge cash donations to churches. He called out spiritual leaders who accepted such donations and then used the pulpit to mislead their flock. And I quote what he said. Church leaders should not lie to our people. We are also peace lovers. We give our tithes and donations, but don't accept money stolen from public coffers. And then you come to lie to us. It is you who is heading to Jehanamu, because the money meant for Elgeyo Marakwet dams, is meant for Elgeyo Marakwet dams. You better take 100 shillings that someone has sweated for than stolen 1 million. Uhuru told the gathering, and I believe that was directed to Ruto. And just to sample what he said also in his defense as to why he has been silent all those years. There has been political rallies, people call him names. He says, silence is not cowardice. Uhuru challenged those in his camp to boldly face the rebellious youth in the region and remind them where the country is coming from. He encouraged those seeking seats under the Jubilee government ticket to endure short-term heckling from pockets and from friends to save our community. When we were being chased from our lands, the BBI was all about Mount Kenya, and I was open to Ruto on every engagement between me and Raila, he said. Well, there is so much about this story, and why does he feel like the country is in safe hands with Azimio leader or Raila Odinga? And interestingly, between his speeches, there was a Kikuyu song that was played. And let me read as per Ndungu Gashane, who is the writer of this story here. In between the entertainment sessions were short video stories beamed on screens highlighting the government projects in Mount Kenya. And along that speech, a DJ at one point, while he was criticizing Ruto over corruption, intercepted his speech and played Peter Kegia's Omo the Daugare Ketumanu. Okay, it's a Kikuyu saying which translates to let us part ways and start selling me what you used to give me for free, in a coined manner to show that the president had decided to completely oppose Ruto's presidential candidature. Wow, too much there.
Oh. Well, the Daily Nation takes quite a different approach to the SAGANA meeting. It goes on to highlight some of the things that the president accused his deputy of, and it also goes on to highlight some of the things that the president says that his administration has achieved for the Mount Kenya region and the country. Let us start with what it says that he has done for what he has against his deputy. He says on his handshake deal with Mr. Odinga, President Kenyatta said he had briefed his deputy about the negotiations with the Orange Democratic Movement leader following the disputed 2017 presidential elections up to the day they publicly announced the truce on the steps of Harambee House in March 2018. I was seeking peace through the handshake. I did not decide to work with Raila so that he would become president. That is what the president said yesterday. He said, claiming Dr. Ruto, though privy to the talks, was too stubborn to give dialogue a chance. He explained that that his rift with Dr. Ruto came as a result of dishonesty over the deal. Then he proceeds to say, the president accused his deputy of hoodwinking farmers with his hustler campaign promises, yet it was during the period that the agriculture ministry was under his watch that farmers' lives were ruined, adding that cabinet secretary Peter Munya was now fixing the mess. And of course, these are things that the deputy president's allies have come out and responded to. And we'll be looking at that in a short while. Now, the president said that since independence, no president since Kenya's independence has achieved more than I have, and that is a fact. He claims that indicated that the combined economies of the 10 Mount Kenya counties was now estimated at 3 trillion shillings, equivalent to 30% of the country's GDP. Then he proceeds to say that his government has issued 5.4 million title deeds since 2013, 1.64 million benefiting Mount Kenya counties. Then he goes on to say his government has seen the improved prices of coffee from 20 shillings per kilo during the previous administration, that is President Kibaki's administration, to 110 shillings currently. And the prices of tea, the minimum auction price for tea from 181 shillings to 311 shillings. Then he goes on to say, President Kibaki handed me an economy worth 5 trillion shillings. When I exit, I will hand over a 13 trillion shillings economy. Now, about the state of the economy and the performance of the government in terms of raising and bettering the economy is a conversation that we do not yet have a solid answer for, because while some claim that infrastructure is an indicator that the economy has grown, there are those who claim that the high cost of living is an indicator that the economy has not, and that the economy is struggling.
Well, I'd want us to continue with that story, but before that, let's take a short commercial break to get a sip of Regis Premium Water. We are coming back. And I am Wairimu Mugo. This is the Morning Dew Show. Thank you so much once again for choosing Dissect TV as your channel of choice. Before you went on break, you were reading on The Nation about the economy. And I wanted to tell you what the Standard or what Uhuru said in reply to Mudavadi. And it was quite a comment that has thrilled social media. As he's saying, let me get that. When my father was leaving this earth, the government was not paying school fees. It is parents who used to pay using money from tea and coffee and rice. They came and finished all this. All these years, since they are saying they are coming to fix, who was in charge of the Ministry of Agriculture? That was about agriculture. And I'm trying to catch where he told Mudavadi, or responding to the economy, he said that when you are the Ministry of Finance, you managed a certain amount of money, but right now the money I'm giving to governors is even more compared to what you are governing as the Minister for Finance that time. Well, that for me was, it was a tough one. And today I know there will be feedback in Larry's, and we're looking forward to see for that feedback from those Larry's, and we'll be here just to make sure that we bring you up to speed with what's happening. Maybe you didn't know what SAGANA Lodge is, and there's a story on page 6 of what SAGANA Lodge is. And it is a hunting lodge in the darkest place like in Africa, that was constructed and gifted to Princess Elizabeth, who is now Queen Elizabeth, on November 20th, 1947, upon her marriage to Philip Mountbatten. And tucked at the edge of a forest, it was returned to the then Prime Minister Jomo Kenyatta in 1963 by the Queen. And it just briefly tells us what has been happening at SAGANA Lodge. And from there, Uhuru Kenyatta has been facing rebellion from the elected leaders in his Mount Kenya stronghold, and has been pushing back and asserting himself from this lodge. And it was here that the Building Bridges initiative gained the backing of the region's county assemblies, who overwhelmingly passed the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill. The lodge is President Kenyatta's base when he is touring Mount Kenya. Well, The interesting part was to know that it was constructed in the 1940s. Well, that is something we never knew, and knowing that it was a hunting lodge sort of, and why maybe Uhuru loves it because it was handed back to his father. Maybe there's some connection there.
Yeah, possibly.
To why he really loves it.
Possibly. Now, to the flip side of the SAGANA 3 coin. In a swift rejoinder in Machakos and Makueni counties, Muranga Senator Irongo Kangata said the president had ignored the thorny issues of youth unemployment, insecurity, and the high cost of living. The speech should have addressed insecurity in Laikipia and Lamu. He should have addressed harassment of businesses by the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. He should also have addressed the issues affecting coffee prices, Mr. Kangata said. Things proceed so fast in the political field. Mathira MP, Rigathi Gachagua, accused the president of being aloof to the problems in the region. It is clear he's not aware of that high cost of farm inputs has diminished returns in the agriculture sector. He is not aware of the biting poverty in the region. Many small and medium entrepreneurs are struggling. He's reading a script that does not resonate with the ground. Then Kikuyu MP Kimani Ichung'wah said the presidents had mismanaged the economy. At the SAGANA meeting, President Kenyatta lied that his administration has improved agriculture. The truth is that agriculture has deteriorated under the leadership of Peter Munya. A 50-kilogram bag of fertilizer used to cost 2,500. Today it is retailing at 6,000. Nyandarua women rep Faith Gitau said the president erred in blasting the clergy on allegations that they have been receiving dirty money from Dr. Ruto. And she says the church that prayed for our president when he had a criminal case at The Hague was good. It was also good when it marshaled votes for him. Yet he now finds strength to tell of the clergy, God shall judge him, she said, adding he must be undergoing immense pressure from quarters beyond his control. Now, in response to the deputy president being a thief, there's this that was said. The president is head of government and commander-in-chief of the defense forces. Saying he has been deputized by a thief for over 8 years, one whose arrest he hasn't ordered, is hypocritical. That is, those are the words of Mr. Waititu, who was impeached on corruption allegations. And again, this is a question that we have been asking ourselves a lot, and I feel like it's not just us, but also a lot of you have been asking yourself, like, there are certain bodies in the government tasked with fighting corruption. Why are they not doing that? Why is corruption still a topic of being used by our politicians to gain political mileage? That is a question we have not yet had an answer to. But clearly, we are not the only ones asking it.
Yeah, I feel like that will become a campaign kind of slogan. And it can eat him. It can take either way, because there is also the COVID billionaires, something that we were hoping that at least one person could be arrested. However, my opinion for SAGANA 3 is that I did not get it clearly as to why the deputy and the president are fighting. It wasn't like clear why are they, where did the bromance go. It wasn't like clear what's the reason behind, and we hoped that there would be an open outright as to why. But then there were lots of things going around why, but the question why is still unanswered. So we hope that maybe during the campaign trails that are coming, headed by the president himself with Jubilee, will get the answers. Because I feel like if Kenyans don't get that reason as to why, it will still be tough.
That is true, and it is also the opinion of some of the people that I have talked to about the SAGANA 3 meeting, because we were all very eager to finally find out exactly what happened, but you know, have all our questions answered, and instead we seem to have more questions arising from the meeting. I mean, it's not, some of us are not fully satisfied with the reasons that the president gave as to why there was a falling out between him and his deputy and a break in the romance that we saw, the bromance, sorry, not romance, the bromance that we saw during their first 5 terms. And they still, well, a lot of questions, some of the questions that we have are such as the one that Honorable Waititu, Mr. Waititu asked. Like, why is the deputy claiming that he's been deputized by a criminal, yet he is the commander-in-chief of all the forces in the country, and this criminal has not been arrested or had any charges pressed against him in the court of law? And other questions are that we have been asking are, how is the economy apparently performing better when most of the citizens in the country cannot afford the very basic needs? And some may say it's because of the corona period, you know, people lost their jobs and all that. But then again, is the economy really performing as well as the president said that it is? We look forward to hearing your feedback on or your opinion on Sagana 3 and your thoughts on the questions that are being asked by a lot of people in the country. So kindly send us your answers, your opinion on any one of our social media pages, or on 23595, or on WhatsApp on the number on your screen.
Well, a quick story here about it's about you who wishes to buy electronic in Nairobi streets, and it's a story of caution where there is a fraud in the electronics ring. And a good case here is Agnes Lesit, who had gone to Nairobi Luvuri Avenue to buy a smart television set, and after making inquiries in several shops, she found a dealer who promised to sell her a 43-inch Samsung set for 29,000. And after that, Lesit withdrew money to pay. However, upon handing over the cash to the dealer beckoned 2 other colleagues behind the store who joined them at the counter. While Lesit thought that the 2 were being instructed to hand over her television, she was told that she will require to add 6,000 more to get the TV. This led to confrontation, and luckily there were officers from Kamukunji police station who were on evening patrol and who came to her rescue. Well, her money was given back, but that was by sheer luck. So this is a story of caution. If you want to buy electronics in Nairobi, please visit the right stores. Do due diligence to be sure that you don't get caught up in this electronics fraud ring. I know you want to go to the cartoon.
I am already at the cartoon, and I was laughing because you heard of the saying, spill the beans. Well, the cartoon today on the Daily Nation is one character. Okay, we do not usually mention names, but this would be so much easier if we did. So there is a character that has toppled a bag of beans written Sagana 3, and the beans have crushed another character. It is...
And the other character is running away from what he has done.
No, this is hilarious. This is good.
Well, the cartoon on Standard newspaper is a big bear there, and the one sitting on the bear. The bear is written Russia, and there's another man in a house written Ukraine, and the bear wants to go to Ukraine. Wow, I think this story is about what's happening between Ukraine and Russia. Yes, and it's something we hope that things can get settled and they find peace. Indeed,
that could be a very, very volatile thing for the entire world. Now, that has brought us to the end of the newspaper reviews, but do not go too far, because after this short break, I will be coming back with guests, and we will be looking more in depth at the Sagana 3 meeting and also politics countrywide, and then Wairimu Mugo will be coming up after that. Now, do remember that we are advocating for the drinking of Regis Premium water, so grab a bottle as you head out for your day. See you after the short break.